Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Tim here with the TMA Connection, a podcast that focuses on people that are making a difference in the lives of others. And I'm telling you right now, I feel like I'm sitting with a famous person. When I first saw you, I've seen on Facebook these selfies of your beautiful mugshot at a networking group.
Right.
And then throughout these posts, it's like number 24, number 25. And I think as of this recording, I saw number 48.
49 this morning.
49 this morning. And so you do a lot of networking. You're really getting out there. And then digging a little bit deeper, I realize not what you're all about, because that's why you're here today, but you are part of a charity called Voices for Hope. And so I had to get you on the show because I wanted to meet you. That, and I've set a goal for 52 networking events in 2025. I've done one.
Yeah, you got some catching up to do.
I'm a little behind the eight ball here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So with this conversation, I will be more in there. So Chris Rives, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, you are probably pretty well known because, again, I've seen you have two different networking groups, one in Cecil, one in Hartford. You guys constantly, you sent me a calendar of the different networking events that you have. You got all that going on. And you used to be a business owner,
right?
And then you took this job. So we got a lot to cover today. So
Yep.
Give everybody just a little 30-second elevator pitch of who Chris Rives is.
My name's Chris Rives. I was a business owner. I was in corporate America for 27 years in the electrical sign industry, and my world took a sharp turn in January of 2023 when I took this job for Voices of Hope. I have a marketing degree, graduated from University of Baltimore, grew up in Severna Park, Maryland, went to Severna Park High School, played football, and now I've been living in Harford County since 1997.
That's awesome. And see, you did say that where you live off here, and I was like, well, I thought he was in Cecil County, but you're down here in Harford County too. So, and very successful at networking. But before we get to that part, what is Voices of Hope?
So Voices of Hope is a 501c3 nonprofit. They were started in 2015 in Cecil County. A lady named Jennifer Turk and two of her co-people that are in recovery joined forces and started the nonprofit. They opened an office in Aberdeen. This September will be 4 years in Aberdeen, Maryland. So we're in both Harford and Cecil County.
Okay.
And we help people get into and maintain long-term recovery from substance use, whether it's alcohol, methamphetamines, cocaine, opiates, any type of substance use. We help people get into recovery through a bunch of different ways. But that's what Voices of Hope is. And I've been with them. I was on the board of directors when we first met in 2023.
Yeah.
And then I took a full-time position with them. This May will be 2 full years.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. What was the driving force for you getting involved with Voices of Hope?
Well, networking, you say I met them at a networking event.
Okay.
I met the owner, you don't own a nonprofit. I met the executive director at Coffee and Connections, which is a Harford County Chamber event.
Yep.
And I met them in January 2023, and I told her my story. I lost my daughter to an overdose. This April 2nd will be 13 years. And she told me about Voices of Hope. She told me that this is what resonated with me so deeply, that everybody that works for the organization is either in recovery or connected recovery. And when I say everybody, we have 60 employees now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're not a small nonprofit. And 54 of them have at least 1 year clean. So we help you get clean. We help you get your kids back. We help you get a job, driver's license, whatever, find housing.
Right.
We help you get your life back together. And then after you have a year sober or a year clean, we will even hire you. The other few people that are not in recovery that work for the organization are connected, like myself, meaning one of the ladies, Lauren, her husband is in recovery. Another lady, their father is in recovery. So everybody that works for the organization is in recovery or connected to recovery. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's powerful. Because everybody's passionate. Everybody really cares. It's not just a job. You know that it's not just a job, it's an adventure. The Marines, right? Voices of Hope is not just a job. They hire people that care. They don't you can't just come get a job. Well, so that I thought was super cool.
Like when you're in recovery, having a purpose to try to live up to is probably a very important thing.
Oh, it's huge. And not only that, but like people in recovery are, coming back from something that was very devastating to their life. And now they're surrounded by other people that are going through the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's just unbelievable. And then another part of it that really caught me off guard when she was telling me is that they do these walks. They're called harm reduction walks. And you may not know what harm reduction is. I'll tell you in a second. But they do these walks through these devastated neighborhoods, very, very troubled, low-income, devastated neighborhoods. When I say devastated, drug-infested neighborhoods.
Okay.
And literally get out of on your feet, walking through these neighborhoods, talking to these struggling people.
Yeah.
And there's just something about somebody that wants to be in recovery talking to somebody that is in recovery. There's this weird connection. I can't even understand it because I'm not in recovery, but
Yeah.
I've seen it happen, and it's a very unique connection because the person that wants to get in recovery wants to be here, and the person that's in recovery understands where the struggling addict is, and it's just a unique, very unique connection, and it works. Half of our participants, half of the people that we help come from these harm reduction walks. Half.
Really?
It's staggering. It's very powerful. So when I heard all that and I met her at this, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I want to come to work for you guys. So we put on a fundraiser. She said, if you can make this thing make money, I'm going to make you a job offer. It made money. She made me an offer. The rest is history.
That's amazing. So you've taken your skills of marketing, your skills of networking, and really this organization's probably benefiting tremendously from your efforts. And the efforts of the 50 to 60 people that, work for Voices for Hope.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I started in mainly an advocacy role, dealing with government officials and just the general public, business people, helping them understand why we do it, how we do it, what we do. Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of evolved into more business-to-business advocacy and fundraising. But yes, I've kind of taken my skills that I learned from sales and marketing and turned it into doing something good all at the same time.
That's phenomenal.
It's pretty cool.
So, of course, firsthand because you lost your daughter. What are misconceptions that people have about addiction and recovery?
I mean, there's a bunch of them, but a couple of the ones that I struggle with on a regular basis is some of the things that we do, such as Narcan, administering Narcan, which can save somebody's life.
Right.
I mean, they're dying. They're having an overdose.
Yes.
I've actually had people tell me they won't administer Narcan because it is enabling. I had a lady tell me that at Hartford Night Out, and she's listening today. She knows exactly who I'm talking about, which is fine because we're friends now.
Okay.
I flipped her.
Yeah.
I got her onto my side.
She was uneducated.
Yes, there you go. But she said, I wouldn't do that. That's enabling. And I said, ma'am, if Narcan was around 13 years ago, my daughter might still be on the planet. And she was like, whoop, woke her up a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And now she's literally my friend and I network with her on a regular basis. So, but that's one of the misconceptions. People think you're enabling when you're doing a syringe service program, which is giving struggling addicts clean utensils so they don't get Hep C or some other disease. But you're not giving them enough supplies for like a month. You give them enough for a day or 2 days so they see you again. And again.
And eventually.
And again. You're planting seeds. You're talking to them. This person that's in recovery is talking to the person that's struggling. And you're seeing them over and over and over again. And that's the part of the harm reduction that I was telling you that works. It's unbelievable. That's one of the things people think you're enabling when we're really not. We're trying to establish trust with these people that are struggling. And we do that by seeing them over and over again. Another thing is people think that addicts are, people in recovery, never get their crap together and that they're worthless. And I got 55 proof of that work for us, that it's a bunch of baloney. They're just normal people that went through a tough time, which everybody has.
Everybody has tough times.
Right.
Sometimes it just affects some people more than others.
Correct.
But then you could very well be struggling and not know that person's having issues too.
That is stigma. A lot of people won't talk about it.
Yeah.
Cecil County, it seems to be a little more out in the open. Harford County, it's not. They don't talk about it as much down here. I'm trying to change that. But yes, there are many people that you know personally. I'm sure you know lots of people. So do I. And I have no idea they're struggling. They keep it to themselves.
Yeah.
Sad.
So if I'm a person that's struggling and want help, how can I reach out to Voices of Hope?
Well, first of all, they gotta want it, and if they want it, that's when we pounce. Like we'll literally come pick you up. We have vehicles. We can come pick you up you call Voices of Hope, and we will head over to your location wherever you are and make the call. Our direct number. Look at me. I don't know who knows phone numbers anymore, right?
Exactly.
I don't.
I'm sure you could Google it.
You got to Google.
We're just trying to make this easy for people.
Phone number is 443-993-7055.
Yeah.
And he hit 1 for the Cecil County office, hit 3 for the Harford County office, and that's the first step.
Yeah.
Some people that are struggling start off by just getting on a call log, meaning we call them 3 times a week, once a day, whatever they want.
Okay.
We don't want to push it on them, but then if they're really ready, we will literally come pick them up, bring them to our office, and that's when the magic starts to happen. We do what we call treatment navigation. If they don't have state insurance, we help them get insurance.
Okay.
And then we get them into a 7-day detox program and a 30-day recovery program. Those 2 things are usually all the state will pay for.
Okay.
After that, we help them get into a recovery house, and there's tons of them all over the place. Voices of Hope we're grant funded, primarily grant funded, so we will pay for the first month or 2 of the recovery house.
Nice.
So that helps the struggling participant get on their feet, then they got to start working a job and paying their recovery house dues or rent, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
We help them get on their way back to being a functioning citizen in the county.
In preparation for the interview, I was looking through your website.
Okay.
And I mean, we've kind of glossed over some of the things you do, but when I looked at the website, there was like a lot of things that you had to scroll down the page to what are some of the more they're all important.
Right.
Just some of the highlights of what Voices of Hope does.
I mean, we host NA, AA meetings at our facilities, which are very important for people to stay in recovery. Some people don't do the 12 steps. Some people do.
Okay.
We host another meeting called a Smart Recovery meeting. The harm reduction walks are the biggest way that we get people to come and go through our treatment programs. Just attract people that are struggling, and they communicate with our peers that are in recovery, and it's just a very powerful method. We do these harm reduction walks on a regular basis in these struggling neighborhoods. Let's say, for instance, in the Manor in Elkton, I believe it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
So they know, the struggling participants or addicts know that we're coming through. So they're looking for us, and they trust us, and we build trust with them, and it just works unbelievably well. It really, really does. I mean, we do a bunch of other stuff. We have recovery-friendly events. We have recovery organization. We have recovery functions, like we'll have a paint night, or we have a recovery New Year's Eve. We're a bunch of people that are in recovery coming out and have fun on New Year's Eve.
It's partying, and not, you don't need alcohol.
It's not alcohol, right? Yeah. You don't have to have alcohol to have a good time. So we do all kinds of stuff. It's almost too much. We'd be here all week if we talked about it. Or all day anyway.
Wow. And then you, of course, are doing a lot of fundraising, and you have a fundraiser coming up. And by the time this is published, that'll be well over, because we're a few weeks back, right?
Right.
So you do have the X Golf event coming up this Thursday.
Yep.
What are some of the other events that you have going on throughout the year, and maybe even what's the next one that would be available for people to participate in?
Okay, so I'm really glad that you asked this question. So yes, 20th of March is our X Golf tournament. It's our first year that we did it, and I actually sold it out, and it's it's really cool. And you're playing in it. I just invited you yesterday, which is fantastic.
Yep, Dan and I will be there.
Yep, but that's a smaller fundraiser. That I want to explain where the money goes when we raise these funds.
Yep.
Which is super, super cool, because I don't know another nonprofit that can say this. I really don't. 100% of the funds that we raise, the profit or the whatever you want to call it, stays in Harford County. All of it.
Okay.
most of the time when you hear 80% or 90% because they have to pay administrative fees or whatever through the organization.
Yeah.
Well, with Voices of Hope, we're grant funded primarily, so the grants cover our staffing and our rent for our facilities and all the other stuff. So we use these funds for what we call emergency funds, and they go to our participants. There's certain things you can't buy with grants.
Okay.
They're very specific. You got to stay in your lane. If you don't stay in your lane, you'll lose your grant.
Right.
So we buy clothing, food, temporary shelters, all kinds of things with these emergency funds.
Okay.
Sometimes we pay for transportations that we can't normally facilitate with our own vehicles, like Ubers or temporary, like an overnight stay in a hotel, because we don't want that struggling participant to go back to where they were. We want them to stay in a safer place for one night before we can get them into the program that they're going into the following day.
Okay.
So it's really cool that our funds stay right in the county, 100%.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in Cecil County, we actually, because of all this government stuff that's going on, we just lost our I think it was earmarks for a recovery house. We had some money that was supposed to come to us so we could do upgrades on the recovery house in Cecil County.
Yeah.
So we have a big event coming up in Cecil County. It's called our Gratitude Banquet. It's a once-a-year event. It's a sober, recovery-friendly event. It's being held at, I want to say Singerly Fire Hall, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I'd have to look it up. It's in May, and it is a recovery-friendly event, and the funds from that event, because we got the grant money pulled from us. We just found out about this a couple days ago.
That was literally the next question I was going to ask you, but go ahead, continue.
We just found out that we lost some funding. It's not a lot, but it was a few $1,000s.
So you are getting federal funding, and from...
Well, the federal dollars are attached to the state dollars.
Okay.
Somehow. Don't ask me how. That's way above my pay grade.
Right.
But some of the state dollars got pulled because of all the federal stuff that's going on.
Understand.
So now the money from the Gratitude Banquet that we raised is going to go to fixing up our recovery house in Elkton.
Okay.
Men's recovery house in Elkton.
That's fantastic. And that's in May.
Yep.
What other events are you doing throughout the year?
We don't do too much fundraising. We do a lot of smaller things, purse raffles. We have a rubber ducky race, which is a cute little thing we do on Labor Day. My big event is Rock and Roll for Recovery, which is in January of every year. So it just passed.
I've heard of that.
That was a huge fundraiser at the Falston Barrel House. That's a straight, normal drinking beer, dancing, having fun bull roast. And people are like, hold on, you're a recovery organization, but you sell beer at your bull roast? And I explained to them just like this. I'm not in recovery, and I want to help. And there's millions and millions of people out there that have a family member, friend, coworker that's struggling, and they're not in recovery, but they want to help. So we do a combination of sober events and non-sober events that just try to raise money all for the same cause.
Yeah.
But Rock and Roll for Recovery is my big event that I started. That was the event that I came up with the idea for when I was hired in January 2023. She's like, if you make this thing profitable in 2.5 months, I'm hiring you. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I did it, and we made a couple of $1,000, and that's when she made me the financial offer, and I started working for them.
Yeah.
But January of 2026, that'll be the next big rock and roll event. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
Lacey, your wife.
My lovely wife.
Your lovely wife.
My lovely wife. I got to say that.
Let's go.
So if she hears this, I'm safe.
100%. Yes. Hi, Lacey.
Hi, Lacey.
We wanted to acknowledge you in this interview, right? Certainly having somebody that's with you, that's supporting your efforts. I mean, because you're constantly on the go, but you guys are kind of doing this together, right?
Well, she has her own company. She owns a company. She owns a sign company that I helped her get started about 1.5 years ago now. But she is very actively involved in everything I do.
Yeah.
For instance, we're on a Zoom call. I'm on a Zoom call at home, and Lacey cuts behind me, and my executive director says, "Hi, Lacey," and for the X Golf event this Thursday, Lacey's cooking all the food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're making a big old pot of white chicken chili, big old crock pot of red chili, some cornbread, and some desserts, and she's making the food for the event.
Yeah.
So she's involved a lot, but behind the scenes. But she doesn't work for the organization at all, but believe me, she's involved in everything we do.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How has that affected your guys' relationship?
Oh, it's definitely, she was really happy when I left the job I was with and took this job because my stress level went
Okay.
Way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was in sales where I was owning a company, and, you know, not only when you own a company are you on straight commission, because
Yes.
you're on straight commission,
Yep.
but, you know, people wouldn't pay, projects wouldn't go as you want them to go, and it was just very stressful. And so she was very happy when I took this position, and my stress level went way down, my positivity went way up, and that's when I really started networking like a madman, because I figured what better way to get connected with the community than face-to-face networking, and I'm good at it. So she's very helpful, and she's very deeply involved, but kind of behind the scenes.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Networking. You are the networking guru. You're the networking genius. What did I call you? In my notes, I labeled you the networking giant.
Yes.
There he is.
Yes.
What are some of the networking events that are really making a difference for you, for Voices of Hope, and maybe even ones that I need to be getting a little bit more involved in to get my goal for the year?
Well, I did a fair amount of networking prior to starting for Voices of Hope, but nothing like what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
They had asked me to get connected with the business community. I couldn't think of a better way than to start networking more and more and more. For instance, in Cecil County, they asked me to, I'd been only networking in Harford County for the first year. And they asked me in the beginning of 2024 to expand into Cecil County. So I'm like, let me think about it. I said, screw it. I'll just start my own networking group.
Okay.
So a friend of mine, Ryan DeGallo, owns Grounded Coffee. He's a partner in Grounded Coffee in Perryville.
Okay. Yep.
And they have a big back hall. It's going to be a event facility, or it already is, but they're refinishing and touching it up right now. But I started that networking meeting on April 30th of last year, 2024.
Okay.
And I've had to miss a meeting or two. I've had a person stand in and run the meeting for me, but I have only literally missed 2 meetings in almost a year. We have anywhere between 50 and 60 people a week.
That's awesome.
Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock.
That's awesome.
This morning we had 54 people there. It's fantastic. So much business has transacted for everybody, including myself.
Yeah.
Voices of Hope I've gotten so many sponsors and made so many relationships out of all this networking. It's unbelievable. And I think people do it because they know that I'm not just there, you know, to make a sale or whatever. I'm in it for a reason, there's a cause.
There's
I
a
lost my
purpose,
daughter.
yeah.
And they know I'm not blowing sunshine up their rear end. You know, it's real.
Right.
I mean, I've spoke in front of these meetings several times and started crying. It's done immense things for me.
Yeah.
For my role at Voices of Hope.
Yeah, I think
really has.
When you go into those things, I think you need to go in with the approach of providing value for others without that expectation that you're going to get something from them.
Yes.
You're not just giving to take, you're giving to give, and maybe it doesn't, but I believe also that when you do put that giving spirit out into the universe, it automatically comes back to you.
You will do good if you network and you roll in there with that
Yeah.
philosophy. There's a big networking organization that I'm not going to plug.
Okay.
That's starting to fall apart nationwide, worldwide. But one of their mottos was givers gain. And just what you said.
Yeah.
And it is true. It's a fact. You don't go in there looking with your hand out, looking for leads or looking for sales or looking for sponsors. You just go in there and be yourself, be genuine, and try to provide value.
Yeah.
And then if you do that, it comes back to you in droves. And I've done so well with it. It's unbelievable.
Was there ever a time when you were uncomfortable about going to a networking event?
No.
No. Okay.
Not me.
I need you to rub off on me a little bit there. Because, you know, I mean, it's funny because I've gone to some networking things before, and, like, I gravitate to the people that I already know. And it's
Right.
like you got to get out of your comfort zone and go meet people that you don't know.
So everybody does exactly what you do, so
Yeah.
don't feel uncomfortable because
Yeah.
everybody does it.
Yeah.
My wife still does it. She sits in the same seat at the meeting every Tuesday morning and has the same 3 people sitting around her. It's fine. But you will get more out of it if you get up and mingle. There's a lady that actually was the speaker at my meeting this morning, Laura Weinstein from the Harford Center. I had a one-on-one with her, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Okay.
She had done 0 networking in her life. She had been in grant writing, and she recently, I'd say within the past year, moved into the business development role for the Hartford Center. And they help older people with disabilities. They bring them to it's almost like daycare during the daytime.
Yeah.
They come to their facility and they pick them up with all these buses. They have lots of funding needs. And Laura had done zero networking. We had a one-on-one, and we were talking about, she was helping me with this, and I started talking to her about networking. She's been networking for the last 6 months, and it has changed her whole organization.
That's awesome.
She's bringing in all kinds of sponsors. She's very bubbly and attractive and smarter than way smarter than me.
Yeah.
And and she's killing it. She's absolutely killing it from networking. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I definitely got to get more into that.
Yeah, it's fun too. I mean, it's time consuming. Personally, I like morning networking better than evening networking. Mm-hmm. The evening networking tends to be more about drinking beer and there's not as much structure.
Right.
It's more of just like happy hour, just showing up and just meeting people, right? Which is fine.
Yeah.
There's a couple of great ones. Downtime networking every Thursday night at Hopkins Farm Brewery from 5 to 7.
Who
Pat Chambers.
Pat Chambers, yep.
Great meeting. I go to that all the time.
Okay.
I'm starting to host some happy hours. One at the Falston Barrel House on April 1st, and then one up in Cecil County on April 16th. Uh-huh. And they're going to be structured, but they're going to be happy hours too. But there will be structured. There'll be an hour of networking and then 30 minutes of business and then another hour of networking afterwards.
Interesting. When you say business, is that like somebody presenting?
Very briefly presenting, me doing some speaking, introducing some of the sponsors, things of that nature. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So that what was that one at Hopkins?
Downtime networking.
Downtime networking. What else? What other ones are open to? Because I know there's some private ones.
Correct.
But then so let's focus on the public ones.
So Downtime is open to the public every Thursday night at Hopkins, and sometimes that changes. So look on find it on Facebook or something like that, because he might jump in with a Aberdeen Chamber group one week, or he might jump in with the Havre de Grace Chamber group one week. So the location might change.
Okay.
But 90% of the time it's at Hopkins.
Yeah.
There's a group on Thursday mornings that I attend at Abingdon Grill at 9:30 to 10:30, and that's called Innovative Networking Professionals.
Okay.
That is Mike Goulart is a guy that started it, I don't know, at least 3 years ago. I've been going to it for 2 years. Then there's my group in Cecil County, which is a Grounded Coffee, and that's on Tuesday mornings from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then there's the Bel Air Downtown Alliance once a month has a, I guess it's like a meet and greet, like a social, like a happy hour thing.
Yeah.
That one is this month is March 26th. I think. Yep, March 26th. I'm not sure where it's going to be held. There's another lady that has a free group, but you do have to join. It's called Hartford County Happenings. That's tonight.
Okay.
At Independent Brewing Company. It's a once-a-month event. Dates change. It's not like the second Tuesday or everything.
Right.
Her name is Michelle Barwick. So, I mean, Hartford County is networking, almost networking overload.
Okay.
Like you can network almost every morning and every night somewhere.
So I have zero excuses. I couldn't find a networking career.
You are.
This is 100% on me.
I was going to say something I probably shouldn't say. So yes, Tim, you are missing the boat.
Right.
100%.
Yes.
There's so much to do in Hartford County. It's unbelievable. Yes.
Awesome, man. This has been a pleasure meeting you. I got a few wrap-up questions for you, and then we'll
let's roll.
We'll wrap
good.
this up.
Yeah, I'm not in a hurry.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Are you good. All right. I always ask every guest if there is a book or an audio book or a podcast or somebody that you follow on social media that is making a difference in your life right now.
We
kind of talked about this though.
This is hilarious. So the answer is I don't read.
Yeah.
I don't listen to audiobooks.
Okay.
I've only listened to 4 podcasts, and I was on all 4 of them.
Well, at least you're reviewing what you've done.
Right. So I'm checking out my.
We got one view on the podcast.
Yes, I did great.
Chris watched himself.
Yeah. I'm not. That's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I watch some TV. I like watching movies. I'm a big news junkie, as in morning news.
Okay.
I get up in the morning, get my politics and my sports. And
why do you ever want to start your day off like that?
I like my coffee and my alone time. My wife goes to the gym at 5 a.m., so I get an hour and a half of silence.
Okay.
It's nice and peaceful. And I don't get depressed or down about it. I like to know what I might need to talk about if somebody starts talking about it.
Sure.
Whether it be sports or politics.
Sure, yeah.
And the weather, of course.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I probably follow so many people online, but nobody intensely. Nobody, not like Grant Cardone for sales or anything like that. I used to follow him when I was in a sales role more often.
Okay.
Now that my job with Voices is more and more and more into the fundraising side, I am going to be looking to follow some nonprofit fundraising gurus, and that's going to be happening over the next few months.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you'd be surprised at how many people that I interview and they have the same answer that they don't read. Like especially the ones that are go-getters like yourself. Like you're just constantly taking action. You're going out there. You don't have time to read. Even if you wanted to, you just don't have the time. And that's what I've been finding is that a lot of people that are entrepreneurial minded just they don't read.
Yeah, I got a funny story for you, and it'll be quick. So when I went to college, I graduated college, I did my thing, and then I got out and I got divorced from my first wife. I was a little nervous, think I was going to lose my kids, a little freaking out, went to see a shrink.
Okay.
And I told him about my college and how I would go to class and I would never miss class. My rule was never miss class.
Yeah.
Hungover, whatever, still drunk from the night before, whatever the case may be. I never miss class. Sick. And he's like, why? I said, well, I would take killer notes and then I would read them into a recorder and then I would listen to them and that's how I learned. And he delved a little deeper and he says, you probably have a learning disability. And he actually, I think I don't learn from reading, I learn from hearing.
Okay, yep.
So I learned through this process. So that's one of the reasons why I don't read. My retention level stinks.
Yeah.
But I learned through hearing things. So
Right.
I listen. I know audio lyrics, songs from the 70s that every single lyric that I probably don't even want to know these anymore.
It's
just
trapped
comes
up
on
in
and
here.
I'm starting to sing it, right? I wish I could get rid of some of that and learn some other stuff, but it doesn't work that way.
That's funny.
But yeah, cool story.
You started to maybe touch on it, but what daily habits do you have on a regular basis that really kind of help you stay focused, stay driven in your life?
I'm really big on time management. So first of all, I get up in the morning and enjoy my peace while I go through.
Same time every morning.
Just about 5:30 every single morning.
Okay.
My wife goes to the gym. I sit down and watch the news, and I go through my phone. I do a couple of social media posts for my nonprofit for Voices. I also I'm an avid. I go to the gym on a very regular basis. I think that is pivotal to my sanity.
I did see
my sanity.
A selfie with Austin Dandy.
Yes.
Who was an old student of mine.
Oh, he networks with me on the regular now.
He is he's with insurance company, but he was with UPS.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the financial services industry
Financial
now.
services,
Yep.
yes. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
he
it is.
networks with me on a regular basis. I see him at the gym all the time in the morning.
Yeah.
But that's really
Is
big.
that Abingdon?
Yeah, we go to
Okay.
Planet Fitness in Abingdon.
Okay.
He's a great kid. He's 30, not kid, but a lot younger than me.
He's a kid.
But so the gym, I'm very regimented on my schedule. I like to follow up with people. I make sure that I check. Like for you last night, I gave you a heads up. Are we still good for tomorrow at 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
I believe in doing that. Just little things to keep me sane, keep me straight.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, big into the gym too. I'm at the Forest Hill Planet Fitness. So,
Right on.
yeah,
I lived
almost every morning.
I lived on Bernadette for a couple years back
yeah.
behind Ronnie's.
Yep.
And I was at that one. So yeah, it's therapeutic. My wife goes every single day, 7 days a week.
My day is so discombobulated if I don't get that workout in the morning. Everything else kind of falls apart after that if you don't.
Yep. I usually go about 6:30 or 7 a.m. most mornings after I get my coffee and get a little quiet time.
Gotcha.
Get organized. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I want to acknowledge you. I mean, you bring energy to a room.
Thanks.
You're everything plus a little bit more that I thought I was going to meet when because again, I've been just following you on social media. Had Rich Bennett on the podcast, who has his own podcast, Conversations with Rich Bennett. We'll plug that. And he just had rave things to say about you, and he ultimately connected us. And I mean, you responded right away, and it's been I hope we can continue this relationship going into the future.
And my wife might get a little jealous. You know what I'm saying?
Well, okay. Dang it.
Dang. There's always these things that get in the way.
Got turned down again.
No, Rich is a great guy, though, isn't
Rich
he?
is a great dude.
He's so.
I had been following him for a while, and that was the first time I met him.
We can't be in public together. We get in trouble.
That
we start messing around. We were at Coffee and Connections last week, and we were. Yeah, he is an absolute great guy, and I've only known him for maybe a year and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
super genuine.
Yeah, he's no BS.
Yeah, no BS.
No
Just
BS.
super genuine. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this has been everything and more.
It's awesome.
Now your turn to acknowledge somebody, not me, and not somebody that's like directly close to you, like father, mother, wife, daughter. Okay, who has made a big impact on who you are today?
That's a good one. The most recently, it would have to be Aaron Wright, my direct supervisor at Voices of Hope. This guy is extremely charismatic, brilliant, very computer literate, way more than me. I mean, he makes me look like an idiot when it comes to that stuff. And this guy's got he did 23 years in active use. Active use, addiction. 23 years. He's got 10 years clean now.
Jeez.
And you would never know it when you meet this guy.
Yeah.
And he can outspeak me.
Okay.
I mean, he is.
That's an accomplishment, huh?
Yeah, he is good. He can present in front of a room, bring everybody in. Mm-hmm. Everybody's engaged. They do not listen. I mean, they are focused. He's very, very good at what he does. And him being 10 years in recovery now and having that long in active use, he's just really inspirational to me. And I kind of try to pattern myself when it comes to public speaking after him. So I would have to say Aaron Wright, my direct supervisor.
Aaron.
He's
That's
a
awesome.
Great guy.
Damn.
Great guy.
Fantastic. If people want to connect with you, whether it's we'll drop the recovery information again, because again, if somebody's listening to this that needs help, we certainly want to get them going in the right direction. So what's that contact information? And then what's your any personal contact information that you want to share, whether it's social media, phone number, email, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'll share it all. I don't care. I'm an open book. The number for Voices of Hope is the easiest way to reach him is 443-993-7055. Mm-hmm. That's going to get you to a voicemail prompt. And hit 1 if you want to talk to the Cecil County Recovery Center, and 3 if you want to talk to the Harford County Recovery Center.
Good.
Me personally, I can be reached at Chris Rives at voicesofhopemaryland.org. Mm-hmm. My last name is spelled Rives. It looks like Rives.
Right.
Christopher Reeves like Superman, and I get all kinds of Superman jokes.
Okay.
Terrible ones now.
He cut me off, man. I was going to go for it, but forget you.
Yeah. My phone number is 443-306-4446. That's 443-306-4446. You can call me. I can help you myself, and if you'd like to speak to somebody at one of our recovery centers, I can connect you directly. Our website, voicesofhopemaryland.org, all spelled out, has all kinds of information, and if we can help in any way, shape, or form, that would be fantastic. I love it.
The website's great, very informative. Your social media presence is phenomenal.
Thank you.
And please, take the time to follow Chris. Superman Reeves, spelled Rives. Please follow us also on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube at the Markland Advantage. We're just trying to get out the word with people that are making a huge difference, and you, sir, are making a phenomenal difference in the lives of others.
I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate you having me on.
Yep, absolutely. So until next time, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Sir. Thanks.
Dude, that's awesome.
Did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead. Click it. Go ahead.